Bradley Cooper spent years perfecting his performance of legendary conductor Leonard Bernstein. But even that and a lengthy campaign wasn't enough to get him the Oscar. Instead, his performance was overshadowed by his seemingly intense desperation to win. And the Oscar for Best Actor instead went to quiet, nonchalant frontrunner Cillian Murphy.
And the Oscar goes to Cillian Murphy.
Cooper's Oscar journey actually highlights an interesting conundrum for Hollywood actors. It is very much a part of their job to go out on the awards trail and try to convince everyone that their film, and they specifically, deserve to be rewarded. But if they get a little too overzealous, it can lead to some pretty intense backlash. There's also the flip side that if they don't promote themselves enough, they can essentially be forgotten, passed over again and again, even though everyone knows they're incredibly talented. So why is Bradley so apparently desperate for an Oscar? And why has that made people kind of turn on him? And why did people find Cillian's more detached attitude much more endearing this go-around? Let's dive into all of those questions, plus take a deeper look at the overall mystery of what it really takes to run an Oscars campaign. Bradley Cooper is a highly nominated actor, but so far he hasn't experienced much of a winning streak.
I've been nominated 9 times.
Yeah, but you never won any.
Though Bradley and his mom were willing to joke about it in a 2023 Super Bowl commercial, it seems like, with his work on the Leonard Bernstein biopic Maestro, Cooper was doing everything in his power to get a win. As the New York Post reviewer, Johnny Olenksinski said, Maestro hits the typical Oscars rubric, but not necessarily in a good way. Elsewhere, Scott Campbell at Far Out Magazine said that Maestro seemed precision-engineered to win, in an article that called out Cooper for his relentless obsession with winning an Oscar. Maybe it makes sense that he's obsessed, though. On Smartless, he mentioned that he was once mocked for his high number of nominations with no wins by a famous director.
Standing next to a woman who's a dear friend who's an actress, and he goes, "How many do you have?" And I was like, "Oh, I 7. How many do you have? 3. What world are we living in where you have 7 nominations? What?
She's only got 3.
What is wrong that you?" And I remember I was like, I
No
fucking
way.
hate this business.
And now that Maestro was nominated so many times, Cooper's number of Oscar nominations is up to 12. He had the chance to join an elite Hollywood club, as only 2 actors in history, that's Laurence Olivier and Robert Benigni, have directed themselves into an acting win. But he wasn't the favorite to win any of his categories, and in the end, got pushed even further into a less fun club to be a part of. People with a big number of nominations and no wins. A roller coaster story, a dazzling leading lady opposite him, and 6 years worth of conducting lessons distilled into 6 intense minutes at the end of the movie might make this performance feel like a shoo-in for the movie industry's most coveted award.
What did I do? Ah, that's what I did. Oh. That's for me and for you. Oh, boy.
The movie was up for 7 Oscars, including 3 for Cooper himself, for Best Actor, Best Picture, and Best Original Screenplay. But for plenty of people, the film's Oscar worthiness was exactly what was wrong with Cooper's 2024 bid. So why can't we just let him have it, and be happy for him? Well, in part because the Oscars aren't just about great performances. There are industry politics at play. But it's also because Cooper seemed a little embittered. In what many saw as a dig at Best Actor frontrunner and eventual winner, Cillian Murphy, he said,
This wasn't like you got a call and then
No, yeah,
you're gonna do it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like this had to have taken years.
Cillian, for his part, has always been pretty removed from the Hollywood machine as an actor, more interested in the work than the spotlight. And this held true for his Oscar campaign as well. He did the requisite promo, but also seemed uncomfortable with having the focus be so much on him.
Everyone's claiming you're the internet's boyfriend. Now that we're seeing you a lot more doing these interviews and hitting the press circuit. And you didn't know about that?
No, I don't know about too many things internet-wise.
He falls more into the quiet, brooding artist archetype that Hollywood loves. For men, at least. Oppenheimer being a surprise mega-hit summer blockbuster obviously helped propel Cillian's great performance to the front of the awards pack. But his more reserved nature also to many felt more genuine than Bradley's more over-the-top antics. And, in the end, he was the one who capped off the night with a win. Why do actors want an Oscar so much anyway? As Leonardo DiCaprio once famously said, "I wouldn't be human if I didn't." DiCaprio is another often nominated actor whose failure to win an Oscar became something of an industry scandal, up until he finally got the award for The Revenant.
I do not take tonight for granted. Thank you so very much.
Ultimately, the desire for validation from our peers is a very human thing. We're programmed to want it from childhood, and it continues in later life in the workplace. It's just that actors' validation from their peers plays out on a red carpet. In an article called Why Do the Oscars Matter in the Washington Post, Sonia Rao quoted an award strategist who said, "The talent wants the awards because of their egos and because it helps their careers. And the studios want to help the talent because it helps the studios. It's all symbiotic, it all feeds into itself." And there are two key aspects of wanting there: ego and career. As viewers, it can sometimes feel like we can ascertain which category Oscar nominees slot into. Take, for example, Anne Hathaway, who was treated with extraordinary levels of vitriol when she won the Oscar for her role as Fantine in Les Miserables in 2013.
Came true.
As one writer put it, she reminded us that women aren't allowed to want things. For years, Hathaway came up against hate online, and it seemed to be because she just wanted acknowledgement for her craft.
This story, the title of it was Why Does Everybody Hate Anne Hathaway?
Yet DiCaprio didn't get any of that hate. When writers penned articles such as Why Leonardo DiCaprio Must Never Win an Oscar, they were tongue-in-cheek accolades about the quality of his acting setting a high bar in Hollywood as he strove for one. So there definitely seems to be a gender issue at the heart of who usually gets hate for wanting an Oscar. It's like we want women to pretend they don't want to be awarded, and yet if they don't buy into the pageantry, it's unlikely they'll receive anything. One example is Amy Adams. She has more nominations than Leo did when he was finally awarded, but no matter how deserving she is of an award, because she's quiet about her Oscar nods, it's like she gets passed over.
You have been nominated 5 times for an Academy Award and haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
It's time.
Leo got his.
Yeah.
So I got to watch Leo get his, and that was cool.
That's fair.
Just like Amy, Carey Mulligan, Cooper's co-star in Maestro, is an often nominated, rarely awarded actress. Many even say that Cooper's biggest mistake when it came to using Maestro as his latest Oscar bid was casting Mulligan because she's so greatly outshone him. But ironically, her exceptional performance was somehow seen by some as a reason she wouldn't win. Francesca Steele writes for The Independent that sometimes stars who look like a dead cert to win Oscars at some point in their career are precisely the ones who never get one. Maybe because Academy voters get used to seeing them churn out spectacular stuff. Or maybe because it feels like such actors are bound to get one sooner or later. It's like these actors literally cannot win. The trouble with the Oscars is that they aren't based solely on merit. There are powerful people pulling the strings. Even so, there are some things actors are perceived to be able to do in order to increase the likelihood they'll be nominated or go on to win. Vogue published a jokey list of 11 things an actor can do to boost their chances, and with Maestro, Cooper ticked quite a few of the magazine's boxes, playing a real person, being American, and being a triple threat of a director, writer, and actor. Playing Leonard Bernstein required a lot from Cooper. He learned to conduct, he studied Bernstein's mannerisms intensely, altering his physical appearance and aiming to inhabit the character. He undertook similar preparation for A Star Is Born. He learned to sing and to play the guitar, and trained himself to lower his voice. Fox notes that this kind of difficult, immersive acting is something Academy members favor when casting their votes. But the only true thing that actors can do to get on the path to winning an Oscar is get nominated in the first place, and that takes a campaign. Cooper campaigned hard for months. He talked about Maestro so much that the audience was saturated and almost sick of hearing about it. As Alex Abad-Santos asked in Vox, "Where were you when you realized you knew too much about Bradley Cooper?" He even did interviews with Leonard Bernstein's family.
And I'm eating the spinach with my hands, and then I either apologized for something, and you said, "That's what my dad used to do."
Corn on the cob was his favorite thing.
And I remember in that moment I thought, oh, this might happen.
Over the past few years, the campaigning that actors have to undertake to get nominated has become more visible. It's not just an organic process that hinges on a brilliant performance. It usually takes a lot of cash to be considered for an Oscar. There was serious drama last year when Andrea Riseborough received a surprise nomination after a series of high-profile actors suddenly began to sing her praises on social media. Award strategists questioned the legitimacy of Riseborough's campaign, and her nomination was almost rescinded, and this all happened on a very public stage.
The Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences Board is meeting today to discuss whether the campaign for the actress broke any rules.
As the behind-the-scenes machinations continue to become more talked about than the actual films and performances themselves, the Oscars seems to be continuing its slide away from a glamorous, serious night of awarding talent, and there being so many snubs of audience favorites, in favor of people who are better at quote-unquote playing the game, has also started to turn people off of the award show. Cooper had done everything in his power to make himself a worthy candidate for an Oscar. The trouble is, as Alyssa Wilkinson writes for Vox, contenders for Hollywood's greatest accolade are supposed to pretend they don't care. So, in even taking on the Maestro project, something that felt like a sure thing, Bradley Cooper has made an error, one that no amount of backtracking could fix.
Sophie's Choice for 2024. You win the Oscar, not only for Best Director, but Best Actor, and Carey Mulligan wins Best Actress. Or the Eagles have a Super Bowl victory. What do you choose?
Victory.
So this might not have been Bradley's year, but since he is such a great actor, maybe he will nab the next one by acting like he doesn't care. That's the take. Click here to watch the video we think you'll love, or here to check out a whole playlist of awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. And make sure to subscribe to our Patreon for exclusive new videos.